So welcome back. My name's Andrus. I'm the golf fitness trainer here at Great Moose Physical Therapy. If you'll refer back to our last video, we did a video on the dynamic warm-up and what that entails and what types of exercises you should be doing prior to exercise or prior to going out and playing around the golf. Today we're going to touch up on after your exercise or after your golf round. So a static stretching routine. A lot of it's going to be specific to what you need to be flexible for your golf game. We're gonna look at I talk about four muscles that are pretty significant as far as being stretched out and having range of motion in those muscles. But talk about the glute, so your butt muscle right here. We're gonna talk about pec muscles, lats, so your back muscles, your lats, and then your forearm muscles, so flexors and extensors of the forearm. So those are going to be the primary muscles we talk about today and how we can stretch those specifically to our golf game to open up a little more flexibility, because we all need that. We all need to open up a little more flexibility in our golf game so we can reduce injury and maximize our game. So we're going to walk through these exercises one by one. I have 10 stretches for you today. The first one we're going to look at is a seated figure four stretch. So most of you are probably familiar with the seated figure four. You're just going to have a seat on any chair. Come towards the end of your chair. You're going to cross one leg over your hip. From this position, a lot of people get coached to get into a deeper stretch on this leg by just pushing down on this side. Not the way we want to go. A lot of times it just puts too much pressure on the knee, and it actually doesn't get as deep of a stretch. So what I recommend is to stay nice and tall in your posture when you're seated. So this kind of works on your postural development as well. And then just tilt at your hips and tilt forward. This is going to create a big pull on the outside part of my leg. So right now we're stretching piriformis, which is one of our muscles that controls our internal and external rotation of our hip. It's going to stretch some of the glute muscles, the ones we just talked about. You're going to spend no more than 30 seconds on this side. You want to exhale and control your breath. Then you're going to switch. Make sure, again, nice tall posture, then lean forward. So piriformis, glute, those muscles that control our hip rotation. So that's a really good stretch to start off with. First one. Our next one we're going to talk about is on the wall over here. You're going to cross, we're going to stretch the outside part of our leg here. The scientific term is the TFL muscle, or the tensor fascia lata, right here. I'm going to take my outside leg, cross the inside leg, and lean into a wall. So it's going to stretch my leg that's on the outside here now. It's going to stretch right there. You're just going to stand nice and tall, 30 seconds. And then switch sides. Again, crossing the outside leg underneath, and then lean towards the wall. Most of these stretches are going to be pretty basic. I don't want to give you something that's hard to get into. It's going to be pretty straightforward, something that everyone can do and get a good amount of stretch without hurting themselves. So that one, again, side of our leg, TFL muscle. I'm going to pan over here real quick. Next one, we get into a little more of a golf feel. So this is a modified hamstring stretch. You're going to take your leg up onto anything really. A chair is what we're going to use in this demonstration. You can either keep your knee slightly bent or extended. It's up to you. If it's extended, you're going to get a deeper stretch. We're going to take our golf club. I have a 8-iron here. It doesn't really matter which club you use. From this position, you're going to rotate in your upper body and then push into the chair to stretch that hamstring. So we're getting two things going on in our golf game. With the rotation in our upper body, you're going to do 5 reps. So this one's more of an active stretch than a static stretch. 5 reps. Rotating on the inside, so rotating to my right, and then I'm going to switch legs, stretch the hamstring, and then I'm going to rotate to my left. So every time I come down and rotate, it's going to pull here. So you have a little bit more of an active stretch. If you want to simply make it static on one of your reps, hold this position and let that muscle relax and stretch for about 30 seconds. So that's on the chair hamstring stretch. The next one we're going to do is for your quads, so the front leg muscle here. So all these guys, you have 4 quad muscles that run across the front of your leg. This one, I'm going to turn my chair around for this one. Now, depending on how tall you are or how long your legs are, you're going to have to use a different height surface, but this one's going to actually incorporate a little bit of balance too, which is nice. But we're going to bring our leg up onto a surface, just like so. Now, depending on how tight you are in this muscle, it's going to pull right away. So if it's too tight, just move whatever you're putting your leg on to support onto a lower surface. From this position, knees bent, again, you're going to go here with your golf club. You're going to get that little bit of forward lean and work on going side to side about 5 times. So it's just like the last one. If you want to make it static, simply take one position into your torso turn and hold it. You're going to actually work a little bit of strengthening here too, but we're getting a constant relaxation here of this quad muscle. Quads get really, really tight, especially hamstrings and quads. If we're in a seated position for any amount of time during the day, those muscles are going to get really irritated. Both sides, make sure you do both sides. And even this position here is going to just allow that muscle to really get a good stretch. This side, same thing. A couple times each side. And then if you want to statically hold it, you're just going to pull and hold. So that's for your quad. Our next stretch, we're going to talk about forearm flexors and extensors. A lot of you probably don't ever stretch here. This is probably the most underused type of stretching is the forearm flexor and extensor. If you think about it, these guys take the most brunt of every swing that you have in your golf game. You have all this force from the lower body to the upper body, transition into your golf club, and then it's supported here. At impact, you get left arm extensor every time, and then right arm, if you're right-handed, flexor. So these guys get beat up constantly. So a really good stretch, we're going to pan over to this wall. Really good stretch for the flexor portion, so the front part of your forearm. You can do it one of 2 ways. I'm going to show you the easier way first. You're just going to come up to a wall, start with your palms to the wall, and you're just going to walk your hands up. As soon as you feel tight here, or even if you feel pain in your wrist, stop. You want to get to a pretty nice stretch so it's relaxing for you. And then once you find that position on the wall, just hold your palms flat to the wall and allow these forearms to relax. The other way to stretch the forearm flexors, the way I prefer, is you're going to get into a kneeling position on all fours and start like this. So you want to make sure that you're nice and neutral in your spine. We're going to take our hands and we're going to push them out, and then if we can, in this position, and this will really stretch the forearm flexors. Most of you will probably get to about here when you feel the stretch. So about straight out from the forearm, about here is going to give you a good stretch. But again, if you can, hold this position, look straight up, and allow those forearms to stretch. Extensors, really simple. A lot of people will show you this one, and it works, where we just hold our arm out and let everything relax, and then we pull the wrist forward. The reason why I don't recommend it, I mean, you can do it, but if you have wrist or carpal tunnel or anything like that, you're going to put a little stress on that joint. The easiest way to do it is taking your ring finger and pinky, you're going to fold those into your palms. You're going to put your arms at your side, and I want you to take middle finger, index finger, and then thumb, and point them back and away from your body. And this position is going to pull all across the extensor of your forearm. So pull hold, and then relax. So you're gonna hold that again about 30 seconds and then relax. So that's forearm flexor and extensor static stretching. We're gonna pause this, move into the big gym and show you a couple more stretches. The next stretch we're gonna talk about is probably the most crucial stretches for you is gonna be a hip flexor stretch of the psoas major muscle that runs across your hip, okay? You're gonna lie down on your bed or whatever surface is comfortable for you. Lie all the way back. You're gonna let one leg hang off the surface, let gravity take over, and pull the opposite leg to your chest. So we're getting the stretch here across my hip. With gravity taking effect, it's gonna pull you down and stretch out that psoas muscle right here, okay? So hip flexor stretch, both sides, again, 30 seconds on each side. We're gonna pan over to the treadmill over here to show you one of our favorite stretches here at Great Moves. It's called the kitchen sink. You can do this at home on your kitchen sink, but it's gonna stretch out our back, our low back, and a portion of our legs. Grab the surface about shoulder width. You're gonna sit your weight back, exhale, and keep your eyes up. Hold that position for 10 seconds. Come back up, and right back down. So for each rep, you're getting a deeper and deeper stretch with the kitchen sink. But again, you can do this one at home at kitchen sink level. It works out perfectly, and you have a good surface to grab onto. We have 3 more stretches to show you. 3 more stretches to show you. First one, we're gonna be on a wall. You're gonna sit down, nice and easy. Scoot as close as you can to the wall. Lay back slow. Put your feet up onto the wall, and you're gonna inch your heels away from your hips. Once you feel tight, hold that position. We're stretching your adductors, adductor longus, brevis, all these muscles that we control during our downswing and follow through. Hold that position for about 30 seconds, maybe even a minute, until you're relaxed. So that's for our adductor anterior thigh muscle. Then we have a chest stretch. I like using a doorway. Gently come to the door, bring your elbow up to your shoulder, support it on the wall, your arm, and then lean. 30 seconds on each side. If you have a not as wide doorway, I actually really like both arms into the doorway on both sides and then leaning forward. So either one arm or 2 arms at a time, doesn't really matter. And our last stretch is going to be a shoulder stretch, or the muscle that we're specifically going to stretch today is our deltoid. There's 2 ways of doing it. First one's going to be a static way. Arms straight, cross the shoulder, and hold. 30 seconds each side. And then the best way to do it, I think, is to the wall. And then taking your arm in that same position we just did with the static stretch, you're going to slide outside across your body and then lean to the wall. Not when you really want to hold too long, more of an active stretch. You want to do both sides 5 times. So active deltoid stretch. So that covered all 10 stretches that we previously discussed and all the muscle groups that we previously discussed. So glute muscle here, all the hip muscles. We have a good stretch for our chest muscle, and then we have a good stretch for our lats and then our forearms. If you continue to do stretches like this and add it to your exercise program at the end of your workout, remember this is a cool down, you will slowly see an improvement in flexibility, which will increase the amount that you can play golf for a long time, and you'll prevent yourself from getting hurt in the long run. With that being said, we'll have another video coming up in a couple weeks. Thanks for stopping by.